Oh my God. Okay, go ahead. I'll text her. I guess I'll jump in. I think that it's amazing. I love the topic of forgiveness because it's definitely a hard thing to discuss, especially depending on the level of offense that you have to forgive. I think it's easy, when you have something as simple as stepping on your shoe or something like that, it's a little bit easier to forgive someone. But when you've had someone to, offend you on a much deeper level to where it impacts the emotional state and things like that, it makes it a lot harder. But I totally agree that it has to be something that we do for ourselves, because 9 times out of 10, the people who have offended us have moved on and gone on with their lives anyway. So it's important for us to forgive so that we can heal from that process, so that we don't allow ourselves to go into further, physical, issues, whether it's sicknesses and feeling it in our body, because forgiveness is definitely something that does impact our health because we dwell on it. And I love that she said that, you don't have to, you don't have to stay there. You don't have to live in unforgiveness and continue to allow it to control your mind and your thinking to where it impacts your health. It's important that we understand that we have to let it go so that we can move on and move forward. And I know for myself, that was something that I struggled with for a while, for a specific offense that happened to me. And it took me 15 years pretty much to get over that. And now I'm able to take that pain and help it to become my purpose so that I can help other women where they are in their journey, like I said before. So thank you for that. That was a great, a great word, a great message pertaining to allowing it to impact ourselves and forgiveness being for ourselves as well.
And I agree with Kelly, because, to carry that around for a long time is debilitating to yourself. And I've also been in that situation, but there's sometimes when I have forgiven, but I realize that the person that I'm really forgiving for myself, because the person that actually created the situation has long gone. And it's not a person that I would want in my life, because I recognize, because of the experience that I had with that person, it's not somebody that I want in my life at all, So I could forgive that situation because I've moved on. But ultimately, that person at some point in their life will have to reconcile the things that they've done in life, and I have to deal with my own life. And so, and I've moved on from that. But for a long time, it was a hurt and a pain. And I remember Elijah Cummings making a statement one time. He says, "Take your pain, turn it into your passion, and make that your purpose." And that resonates in so many areas of my life, even with my business, So I always think about that, because people will hurt you. Maybe they intend to, maybe they don't intend to, but you have to know when to move on and take that and make it something worthwhile in your life. So thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, and I love that. And I'll just add one more thing. But I think a lot of it has to also do with, in our minds, when someone wrongs us, we feel like you don't get to wrong me. And we feel like we need to avenge ourselves. We have to let people know that it's not okay, you can't get away with doing that and not wanting to accept that it happened.
Yeah.
And we can't take away the fact that it happened. So we have to learn to accept the fact that it happened and accept the fact of who the person was, depending on what the relationship was. And we have to come to terms with that we may not have liked it. We may not have agreed with it. It may have done great damage to ourselves as far as emotionally or anything else. But we have to come to terms with it, accept that it happened, be okay with and not necessarily be okay with it happening, because it may not be something we're okay with, but be okay with knowing that I can forgive myself, I can forgive this person, and learn to, if you need to, depending on a relationship, love that person from a distance. Because like it was said, you don't have to continue to be in the presence of people who did things to you. You can learn to love them from a different distance, forgive them, and move on, accepting that this is what happened to you, and learning how to heal from it without feeling like you have to do this great act of revenge for yourself, because it may not always be possible to do that.
Yeah, I was gonna mention that's awesome. Go ahead, Coach Coleman. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh no, you're fine. I was just agreeing with what she said.
Me too. People are like, yes, that part. I was just gonna say, I had my cousin that I had to, forgive for me, not for her, but for me. And the thing is, like, I had to learn from that. You know what I mean? Like, I try to take all the moments where I actually have to forgive someone and learn from that experience. And one of the things that's helped me a lot is the one scripture that says, like, vengeance is the Lord's, he will repay.
Yes.
Like, I won't be the person that's always like, see, I told you so, or when something bad happens to, you know what I mean? I've learned not to blow when my enemy falls, even though they were my enemy. And that was huge for me in the cycle of forgiveness. It's like, you know what? I understand that you probably deserve that, but I'm not going to gloat about it, and I'm not going to kick you when you're down. So that was one thing that I truly learned, that like the Lord will take care of your enemies for you, and you don't have to fight some battles, but you do have to forgive. So I want to add that.
I agree.
And that is so good. And I'm so sorry. I know I said I wasn't going to keep talking, but I think it's so good because it's important that we understand that vengeance is mine, and what we go through, says the Lord, but what we go through is not always for us. Sometimes it's for other people, so that we can go through what our experiences and we can help somebody else. We can reach out our hand and pull another sister up, because we've been through what she's been through. We felt that pain. We felt those experiences. And because we overcame, we can teach that other person and that other queen how she can overcome and what she should look for, what she should be careful for. And so our stories, we go through them. We go through those pains and those valleys because God knows we are able to manage it and handle that. He's given us the capacity, and he won't put more on us than we can bear. So what he does is he allows us to have those stories to build us up so that we can help somebody else. And so on our lifeline, somebody else is going to experience the same thing on their timeline, and we need to help them where they are. And I think that's so important that we realize what we go through. We have to forgive, because if it doesn't, it'll fester and eat up on us like a cantankerous sore, and we won't be able to help somebody else because we'll be so much festering in our own self. So we got to forgive so that we can heal our wounds enough to remember them, so that we can help somebody else and show them, this is my scar, but let me show you how I heal. So I think that's amazing. It's a great topic.
I love that you
I
said
like
that.
I like. Can I jump in? Hi. May I jump in? This is my thought. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
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 So my thought is, as much as I forgive, circumstances happen. Let's say the boyfriend takes the car. I crashed the car. It's under his insurance. And now I'm carless again. I forgive, but then I get back into that cycle of not forgiving because of circumstance. So here's how I shifted it for myself is John 1, chapter 4, verse 8. It's like where I've been living in right now is saying, whoever does not love does not know God, because God is love. And I'm saying, if I want to walk with God and I want to be loved, then I have to, that's how I diminish the forgiveness when it keeps repeating, the hurt and the pain. So I have to feel like that verse for me feels like as much as we can say it's for me to forgive and then I forgive, what happens is like circumstance happen and I'm like, it creeps back in a lot of
Yeah.
times. So, and then I don't know how when it creeps back in to be stronger on my own individual self. I'm so sorry. 1 second, guys. This is how the enemy works, but that's okay. Just when I'm speaking in the truth, they come, right? So in this space, I won't refuse any of that. Where I'm at is that no matter how much I forget, circumstances happen in life, like the car situation, and then all of a sudden I'm like, the only thing that diminished it for me was to say, okay, God to help me to do that process. So I just wanted your feedback if you have anything on that. When you're not strong enough to do it for yourself, you know, that's what I'm doing these days. Does that make sense? Sorry for the distraction.
I got it. I understood it.
So
Yeah,
I'll
that
clear.
makes sense.
I'll clarify, because no matter the whole time I'm sitting here was fine, and 15 people just came over to the couch as soon as I'm bringing in the message from the Lord. It's amazing, right? It's like, look, it's like nonstop. The whole time. So I want to feel grounded in my message. So I'm going to take your message, Coach Coleman, and I'm going to, what I'm hearing, what you said is that do it for myself, right? Do it for myself.
Yes.
But then when the self is not filled up, it's so hard. It kind of doesn't fill up. It kind of, it's hard sometimes to do it for self.
Yes. So
Because
that's
of circumstances. So I need some coaching here. So it's one thing to do it for self. Okay, leave the person. Okay. But then I'm carless right now, and I'm in a panic of what to do about a car, because that's where my trauma is about a car, like finding a car.
mhm.
So I crashed mine on the highway, and I'm not, because he took my car. So that was a year ago. But I'm back in that. I don't want to forgive him because I'm now suffering trying to find a car. You get it?
right.
So I'm going to say right now, forgive him for myself. Can you help me on this? It's a little
So
coaching here.
so when you forgive,
It's very difficult to forgive for myself right now.
so the question is, have you already forgiven him for the car? Because that's what we're forgiving him for. And that way we then start working on self. How do we build self back up? That's when the self-care comes into play. What does self-care then looks like for you? What emotions are you currently feeling at that moment? Because remember when I said it'll take time, it will take time, because now every time you get a new car, when you get that new car, you may have those memories because the memories are still fading away. So it's easier said than done, but that's why you have to also be patient with yourself. Because if not, the anger is just going to dwell, and that's something we don't want. We don't want the
And then
anger to
smoking a
dwell.
cigarette, like my own demons come out, right? From my own stuff, right?
Mhm.
So self-care is what I'm hearing. Thank you.
Yes.
All right, I'll go to the hot springs today in Ojai.
That sounds
Thank you so
good.
much. Anything to check out and not look for the car, right? Just any reason to not be angry. All right, and then thank you so much. I appreciate it. I needed this more than you can imagine. Like, hands down. Does anybody have any final questions for this wonderful lady?
I think Miss
Yolanda's
Yolanda.
Yeah.
Yeah, Yolanda, okay.
So I know, so my book is called No Satan, Not This Time. And one of the scriptures that I'm grounded in is greater is he who is in me than he who is in the world. And I stand on that so firmly for a couple of reasons. The bulk of my trauma came from the military. But the Bible says that, and I'm not going to go into all that, but it says we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and high places. And when I'm going through, I got this as a mantra, because my flesh, I've been trained to take you out. I know everything to do, but I recognize it's a war. And so, I'm sorry, what was that?
I don't think she.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's that one in my book. I just talk about really having a very powerful, empowering, and freeing no. So much so that you're standing in that place, but it frees you. And that's my story, you know, in terms of my pivoting when I started saying no to people, places, and things that were no longer on my team. They're not pro Yolanda. And yeah, and it's interesting because, you know, I don't know why I wrestle with the word forgiveness. I don't know if there's a block there. I don't, but I resonate with the word releasing, because I've seen people forgive and then they don't release the whole gamut of, just release that person to their highest self or whatever, or release yourself for growing. Even when we fall, we grow. You know, so yeah, so it's, you know, in my experience, it's a, you know, forgiving is one of the many steps, but, and it's not even a but, I'm going to say and, forgiving and releasing and letting go, and so that you can let so much in that God has for us. Yeah, so I just felt the need to share that.
Thank you.
No,
That's it for me.
those are all
I
nice
agree.
words. I love everything that everyone had to say, because you all got the message. You understood, you grasped it, and you even all added to it, which was what I expected, which is what I wanted to present to you all. Just the basics. And when you all started saying scriptures, I was like, yes, they understand, they understood the mission, because forgiving does so much more than just for the other person. It's for yourself. It comes from a spiritual place, to be very honest. It takes a powerful person to forgive someone for that type of hurt, type of pain. It's not easy. That's why everyone can't forgive that easy. So I completely agree. And you have to be very powerful and want to do it, because it comes from a deep place within, especially when you've been hurt, that tragic, or experienced some type of trauma to the point where it caused that anger to linger for so long. So I salute to all you women once again. You understood the mission, and thank you all for having me.
Thank you.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So we have a gift to give everybody. Alessa says she's giving away a perfume, and she wants for me to ask a question. And I think the question could be was there like 3 different ingredients to your talk today? Like, would that be a good question? Say, what's the 3 ingredients that you spoke about?
Yeah. That could be good.
I guess it's not okay. Stacy, can you please mute yourself, please? I'm so sorry for Stacy's phone. She's new to the Zoom thing. Okay. She got knocked out there. She's back on. Okay, so would that be a good question? How about you ask a question? And then if it's correct, ask a question, and the correct person that puts it in the chat, you'll let us know, and they will win a mini perfume, and then we'll mail that to them. How's that sound?
Okay.
Awesome.
First
So
question.
you ask the question, and then everyone puts it in the chat, and whoever's the closest to your answer will win the perfume.
Okay.
I won't win, but you will win.
So out of our whole conversation, what is something that not forgiving someone can linger towards long term? What damage can it cause long term?
I didn't get that.
Not forgiving others, what damage could that cause long term?
Health concerns.
Is it one word you're looking for,
Or could we be a bit more specific when we say health? I see someone said heart disease.
how about death?
Stress.
It could cause
Stress was the magic word that we used in general.
So who is that person?
I
That was-
believe.
Yeah, it
Sorry.
could cause PTSD.
PTSD.
When you
Okay,
don't
good.
forgive somebody, like you ruminate.
You ruminate everywhere you're doing. You smell a perfume and you remember them. You see a face and they remind you of so and so. It really causes you a lot of emotional torture.
Wow.
It's really not worth it. And I have intentionally, and this is coming from an ordained pastor, I have intentionally told myself that this person deserves for me to be angry at them, but they were living their lives and my heart was palpitating and I was having all kinds of nightmares. So it really does hurt you emotionally and physically.
Okay. Do you want to pick the winner, Coach? I think you had.
It was Safari K. She said stress.
Safari K, stress, and that was just the winning ticket.
Yes.
Let's bring her to the stage and congratulate her.
Thank you.
Congratulations for stress being the answer, and I hope the perfume will bring less stress in your life. And we will get that over to you, and we will make sure your gift is delivered. And I will. Can you just put your information in the chat so I can copy that and make sure that we are in business? As you can see, I'm just borrowing my friend's Tesla. There it is. Because I'm carless for a year. I don't know what I'm doing. Okay. So this message was beyond perfect. So let's all put our information in. Let's all just say thank you so much for all your asks and everything. And make sure everything's in there. If we can save the chat, then yep, save chat. I don't know where it gets saved to. We'll figure that out. Anita, if you can save the chat, let's take a nice group picture. If we all want to get on our screen, that would be lovely for Messa because she loves to put that on Facebook, and we'd love to invite new friends. I actually invited friends, so her message today was to invite one, is always to bring one, is to share love, because all the sisters out there don't have this opportunity to be together once a month. And we welcome to build this chapter and let everyone come together in community. So if we all get on the screen, and then let's do a view, and I could do gallery. There we go. Let's put Chelsea, if you can get on screen. Stacy, I'm going to get out of the sun so I can screenshot this. I'm in the middle of the street. Let's do it by this tree, something naturey. Okay, beautiful. Okay, is everyone's camera on? I'm going to do a screenshot. Here we go. Smiling. We only have a few of you on, if that's okay. What kind of smile you want? Okay. When you look at yourself, you're like, oh God. All right. All right. So Amessa, we thank you for bringing a doctorate. She's on an honorary doctorate right now for humanitarian. She is in London, so we're sending love to her. It seems every month, we're sending love to somewhere in the world once a month, and you're getting some sort of award or a pageant. It's interesting. Last month, you were in your beautiful sari and you had your crown on. This month, you are the honorary doctorate. So we're so honored to have you in our presence, to be a director of this chapter. Seeing an example of every month, something magical is happening. I think the month before that, you were in Dubai. It's just amazing. We all should have this wonderful life of God's driven purpose. So with that, I just wanted to close the meeting. If you guys need anything, please reach out to me or Messa on the WhatsApp, and feel free to come and join us again every month. It's always the last Saturday of the month. And please, if you have an ask, and I'm going to already reach out to a few of you to support. Try to support. Do one thing for one person on the call. See how that feels to do for a sister. Love you all. Peace out. Messa, any last messages before I leave all my luggage on the ground?